Hello amazing people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. It's me here, Zuleika Abiri, and I'm also known as the Saved Woman. As you know, this channel is mostly about faith, so if you're a Christian or you're interested in knowing more about Christianity, or just check my videos out, I believe they will be a great blessing to you. Yeah, basically, and don't forget to click that subscribe button if you found this video, if you like what you see. Let's get right into what we have for today. So you can see from the title that I failed Jamb. Like oh god, I failed Jamb, guys. It wasn't a funny experience, so I'm going to give you all the juicy details. I believe that at the end you'll also be blessed by this video. So let's start. Okay, so when I gave my life to Christ, I proposed in my heart that I'm going to leave hostel because I was in boarding school. I was in SS3. I was about 15 years old at that time. I was 15 years old. I gave my life to Christ, and I thought, okay, I would like to leave boarding school because I just wanted, time by myself, time to get to know God. And there were lots of things going on in the hostel, and I wasn't really comfortable, so I just needed to separate myself from that environment. So my parents agreed, and I was at home, and I received extra lessons for even WAEC as well. If you don't know WAEC basically means like West African Examination Council. The actual thing is WASC, that is West African Senior School Certificate Exam, WASC, but most people just call it WAEC. So WAEC is like your A levels, the exams you write. I think you write it in Ghana, Nigeria, and maybe Sierra Leone, or some other African countries, but it's like a West African exam that secondary school students write after when they're in their final year of high school. Yeah, so with this exam, so I think you do Jamb. So Jamb is joint administration matriculation board, I think. Joint admissions matriculation board. If I'm wrong, I'll put it here, but I think I'm right. So that's basically the exam you write to go into uni. So I already had everything planned. I'm going to study mass communications in University of Lagos. I'm going to go to Unilag, get my mass comm degree and all that, because my dad had already said, I can't afford to send you abroad, so just we'll study in Nigeria, and then maybe for your masters you'll go to the UK. So I was cool with it because I wasn't really like so bugged about traveling out. It wasn't really like it wasn't something that was a big deal for me. It wasn't a big deal to me at that time. So this Jamb exam, I prepared so hard for it. I remember I put in my best. I was reading, thinking that when I see my result, honestly, I was thinking I would get 300 and something. But I was like, let me be humble, I'll get 260 or like 290. Or for my calculations, that was what I was expecting. That night before the exam, I hardly slept. I studied all night and then had some time of sleep. And then I went to my exam center feeling all like, I know what, as in I'm going to write. I came from home. I wasn't a boarding student because boarding school students came from school, so I went straight there, answered the questions. Mind you, I did history, English, government, and I think literature, because you do 4 subjects. I think these are the 4 subjects I did. I loved history, so I thought, why not? So I did, as in I was so confident. And lo and behold, on this day, I just said, let me check my results. I think I got 183, either 183 or 178. I can't remember. Like, I'm exposing my score to you, like, see, for some time I couldn't open my mouth to say that's what I scored because I was so confident. And of course my parents were very disappointed because that was not what they were expecting. My sister that went before me had like a high mark, and it was just like, you didn't even push to be like your sister. Look at your sister's score. My parents were so disappointed in me, and I was just really sad. It was a dark time for me, and I told myself, like, what am I going to do? What is this life? Because that was the lowest score ever in the whole house. And I'm a smart girl. Like, it's not as if I struggled academically. Most times in school I'll come like first, second. In primary school I used to come like first, second, third. I don't used to go past first, second, third. It's either first, like I'm always at that top, radar or top level, whatever. So this result was like, initially when I saw the result, I said I bind and I cast. Mind you, I just give my life to Christ a few months down the line, perhaps like 4-5 months. So I said, let me use my I bind it in the name of Jesus. That cannot be my result. Back to sender. Maybe it's a mistake. Checked again, the same thing. Checked again, the same thing. So my dad said, okay, let's go to this school. The particular school in Nigeria, I won't mention the name, but I didn't want to go to this school because there were a lot of rumors that some courses don't get accredited, so you might end up spending like 5 years in school and then you come out and they say your course is not accredited. And then I was just like, that's not my portion. No, I don't want that. Nah, I don't want that. So I just fought it and I was like, no, daddy, I don't want to. Like, even if it means, taking Jamb again. Because my sister was like, if you go to that school, all this one day, because my dad was like, if I go to the school, then I can always, transfer next year. I know I should just start. My sister was like, if you go to that school, that's where you start, that's where you finish. Say you would rather take Jamb. And I said, I'd rather take Jamb. So we're considering going to Ghana, University of Ghana, Legon, and some other schools in Ghana. We're considering somewhere not too far from home. Lo and behold, that was Ebola period. And there were some flights like you couldn't really travel like to Ghana at that time. It was just like, God. They were not suggesting South Africa, and my dad was like, no, that place is too like rowdy. No. All of a sudden, but before then, my sister was encouraging me that, oh, maybe God has another plan, all things work together. At that time, I was like, I beg, I don't want to hear it. I was just so depressed. And I remember starting to believe that, okay, God, I laid this before you. I probably didn't even pray as actively as that, but I just stopped worrying about it and just gave everything to God. Like I couldn't do anything about it. So lo and behold, I keep saying lo and behold, one particular day like this, I was just on my own. My dad said he would like to see me. My heart was ready to like this. Hey, what is the verdict? What is the verdict? What is the verdict? So he called me to his room and he said the most like unbelievable thing. He said, we have considered different options. My dad talks very like elite. We've considered different options, like nothing seems to be working. Me and your mother have decided that we would like to send you abroad for your undergraduate, and that even if it's going to be expensive, we're willing to put money together and make sure it happens because we do not want you to stay at home. I was just like, say what? What did you just say? Really? But at that time I knew, but at that moment I knew that it was God working in my favor. I just knew that it couldn't have been just my dad deciding it by himself. I knew that it was God, and I knew that the main reason, like some of you know my story, that I used to be a Muslim before I gave my life to Christ. I knew that if I remained in Nigeria or if I remained somewhere close, it would have been easy. I wouldn't have been able to practice my faith because at that time they didn't know I was a Christian. So I just believe it was God's way of, the Bible talks about Abraham and how God called him from where he was, from his father's house, into a place that is far from home, different from home. And that's how I felt. And I just knew that God wants me to just serve him without any reservations, without feeling like, oh, what my parents think. And so my traveling was very impromptu. The whole process started like in August. I graduated from secondary school in July. The whole process started like in September or so, or even October, and I had to travel in January. So it was really like impromptu, did everything. There are times I was panicking. I was still a new believer, a baby in Christ. So I was panicking about little things, but God saw me through. Hey. And everything just seemed to be falling in place. Like I was just like, wow, I'm traveling again. I was not so freaked about traveling. I was more like nervous, wondering how things are going to be there. I was only 16. I was now 16. I was like, oh, how is all this going to happen? That was in 2015, mind you. So you guys know my age now. But it's okay. On the day I traveled, I was on the queue. I was on the boarding queue. Not like I was checking in. Boarding queue. Look, I checked. It was almost my turn. I said, well, let me look at my passport. I couldn't find passport. I said, hey, in my mind I was like, any power that does not want me to travel, I bind, I loose, but I wasn't like, obviously, like I said, I was a baby Christian, so I wasn't doing all of that. But I was like, God, is this how it's going to end? But again, a part of me knew that, you see, when you're a baby Christian, you just have this childlike faith. Like I just said, well, God brought me this far. There's no way I'm going to now go back home. No, I'm going to travel. And then I was looking for a searching every day, and then all of a sudden someone came in and said, oh, who is Abiri's Lake? And I was like, it's me, oh, it's me. I said, the way I came, like, all this look of all these careless children. I took my things. I traveled that day in January 2015, and honestly, that's my story. It's a major testimony for me because when I traveled to Nottingham, United Kingdom for my foundation, and then I went ahead to do my undergraduate and then my master's, all one after the other. That took me about 5 years. So 2015 to 2020 to 2019, end of 2019. I came back 2020 January, which was like a few months ago. And I would honestly say it's been God all the way. And I want to encourage someone watching that things might not go the way you want it. Things might not go the way you want it. But always trust that God will cause everything to work out for your good. Things might not happen the way you imagined in your head to be. Things might not be pleasant, but always trust that He will make it work for your good, no matter what has happened. God can make it work out for your good. Romans 8:28 says, for we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them that are called according to His purpose. So are you called according to God's purpose? Then all things are working for your good, irrespective of what you can see, what you can feel, the statistics, what the doctor says. It is all working for your good. So put your trust in Him. So I wanted to end this with a short story about how all things do work together for the good of them that love God and are called according to God's purpose. So a few days ago, I needed money in my account. I had cash, but I needed it to be transferred to my account. I asked my sister, but she was like, oh, she doesn't need cash. I asked my other sister, which I'm staying with, the one that I'm staying with her and her husband, and she said, oh, she actually doesn't need cash as well, but I should ask her husband. So I asked her husband, and he was like, oh yes, I can send it to you. And he now said I should keep the cash. I was like, favor is my name, oh. And then when I checked what he sent, it was even almost ×2 of what I needed. So imagine if my sister had transferred it to me, I won't have got the extra money. So I'm just saying that, and initially the whole thing was just like annoying because I wanted my data. I was like, how I even phone me, like send me this thing. But imagine if they had sent it to me, I probably would have missed that blessing. So sometimes when things don't work according to what you wanted, just seek God, like lean into God and say, God, this didn't work according to what I wanted, but I trust you that you are doing something and that you will make everything beautiful no matter what has happened. So that's my encouragement. I hope you were blessed by this video. So that is the story of how I built Jamb. I hope you have been thoroughly blessed by this video. I had so much fun sharing this, and if you want to hear more story times like this, please let me know in the comments and I'll definitely keep them coming. I like to tell stories, I like to talk, so I got you guys. Thank you so much guys for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you comment below about something that happened but you thought, how is this thing even work out? Feel free to share it. If you don't want to, it's okay, but I would love if you can share your experience in the comments below. And also please hit that subscribe button. Please do not finish what is going on. Please do not finish watching this video without clicking that subscribe button. Click it doesn't cost you anything. So thank you for subscribing in advance. Hit that notification bell to see more of my videos when they come up. So yeah, thank you guys, God bless you, and I'll see you in my next YouTube video. Orúkọ Jésù mama tó bí ege. Orúkọ Jésù mama tó bí ege.